Listen, I told you give them something visual, so you in the head and made your own YouTube-based TV show. It's an array of IPAs and fighters on the road. Got a question? Put them in your comment section right below. Barbershop talk while you're sitting in your living room. Pacquiao, Mayweather, and we can't forget the bruise. Coming to you live with the scoops like a ladle. Allow me to introduce the boxing round table. Yeah.
Rollo Jenkins, boxologist.
You motherfucking tube. It's your boy, Rollo Jenkins. So I just got off the, you know what I'm saying, the debate with the round table. Shout out to my boy, Coach K, a.k.a. Zone 6. Everybody else from the round table. Wayne Talk, a.k.a. Boxing Talk. Boxologist. My boy Phil. Special shout out to my boy Smoke. Get that smoke. I just want to touch on this real quick because I see I'm running into a recurring issue in boxing a lot, all the time. And I'm very consistent. And I bank on my consistency because there leaves very little room for error. When it comes to your philosophical beliefs in boxing, you have to be consistent, or it would tend to lead to you to be consistent. And what I'm finding is a lot of inconsistencies in boxing, therefore leads to lots of subjectivity. And since I'm making this video, we need to break this down to its most simplistic form. That's what I'm about to do. So check my history, check my record. You can go back, look at my past videos. I try and be very consistent in breaking shit down simply because everybody convolutes every conversation with a bunch of shit when we can just kiss. Keep it simple, stupid. So you can check my history on scoring in boxing. If we just keep it simple and keep it basic, then we don't get convoluted with ring generalship and what is ring generalship and all of this other shit. Because once you start adding all these nuances to it, then you can always move the goalposts when it depends on your favorite fighter. As long as you can keep it consistent across the board, then that leaves no room for error, or very little room for error, or less room for error. The more shit you add to it, the more room you add for error. So when it comes to the subject at hand for today's debate, which was, what is a fighter's career-defining fight? And the debate came from smoke that some fighters, you can't have one fight that defined your career. And that is a very semantic standpoint of fight defining career. And that's why I took it to its most simplest form of, when you think of a fighter, what fight do you first associate with that fighter as far as that fighter's career goes? That would be the most simplest way to define that term. Now, I'm not 100% dogmatic on that stance, but whatever the stance is, it has to be something that can be applicable to every fighter, no matter if he only had 2 fights or 200 fights. Whatever it is can be consistently applied to every fighter. Now, some would say, because every fighter's career is different, it can't apply to every fighter. And that there lies the problem. That there lies the issue. There is always something that we can apply to every fighter. You just have to break it down to a little simpler form. So obviously there will be guys who have more of those types of fights to choose from, but you still only get to pick one. And if you can't pick one, then you have an issue with things being consistent in order for you to be able to move the goalposts whenever it's necessary for you to adjust things for your favorite fighter in your discussion or debate with someone in that particular situation. But as long as we can keep it simple to the rudimentary, fundamental elements of what boxing is in all aspects, whether it be judging or how you score a round or what is the defining fight of a fighter's career, we can always measure that and put it up against any fighter based on what you say the criteria is. The criteria can't change because of the fighter. That makes no sense. How would the criteria change for how a fight is won based on a fight, or what fight it is based on a fighter? That makes no sense. If you knock a dude out and the referee counts to 10, that's a knockout. And we know that to be true because we all have the history of watching boxing to know that to be the knowledge of a fact. And we may not agree on what that fact, the essence of that is, being that a fighter's career-defining fight might be different for you than it is for me. But what we agree on a career-defining fight should still be the same and consistent. And it don't have to be consistent for ourselves necessarily. My criteria be different from your criteria. But whatever your criteria is for any particular fighter should apply for every fighter. And that's your criteria. And it should apply for every single fighter. Mine's, it will, and it shows that it applies to every single fighter. That criteria that I put forth applies for every fighter. So when you say that you can't use the same criteria for the next fighter, that shows your bias for that fighter for that particular situation. And when it comes to another fighter, you can move the goalposts or add or subtract things from the criteria to fit or suit your specific situation or topic or debate at that time. Now I'm bagging everybody in the motherfucking corner right now. And when you come with that shit and you got some shit to say about a fight, a score, a fighter's career, or anything else, make it consistent. Make it make sense. It don't have to agree with everybody else's shit, but it has to be consistent with you. Whatever you say, it has to be consistent. So when we take what you say and apply it to another fighter, you cannot move the goalpost or change the situation or add or subtract nuances to fit that situation that you want it to fit. It's your boy, Rollo Jenkins. Holla at your boy.
I told you give them something visual, so you in the head and made your own YouTube-based TV show. It's an array of IPAs and fighters on the road. Got a question? Put them in your comment section right below. Barbershop talk while you're sitting in your living room. Pacquiao, Mayweather, and we can't forget the Brews. Coming to you live with the scoops like a ladle. Allow me to introduce the Boxing Round Table. Yeah.